Hello, welcome to another of our video series. We're here at Clew Hill Farm, just outside of Bicester, aren't we, Stuart?
Yeah, it's actually in Oxfordshire, but it's got a Buckinghamshire postcode, believe it or not. But we're at a farm. This is my radio studio, or one of them, in the barn. And there's some interesting things going on here, isn't there, William?
Yeah, we've had a good day here today shooting film here, haven't we? Just discussing the stage, what was the stage show has now become a retreat that's going to be possibly held here.
A stage show that's become a retreat. That's an interesting one. So here's more about it. Okay, I'm with Barbara Osborne now, the owner of Clew Hill Farm. Tell us, what is Clew Hill Farm? What happens here?
Well, nowadays it's basically a 50-acre nature reserve. Initially, when we had it, it was shot out. It had been used as a clay pigeon shoot, and there was not a single bird on it, or you certainly couldn't hear them if there was. And now it's full of bird song, it's full of wildlife, and that has come about basically because over the last 30 years we've had lots of animals, and we've come back to thinking that we just need to manage the fields, but correctly, so that we can enhance the wildlife here. So we have sheep, and they graze the fields, they're lawn mowers basically, and then we get the hay meadows, which are around us at the moment, and they are then cut, but they nurture lots of wildlife, lots of insects and bugs and butterflies, and the birds can come over them and they can feed on all of those. And we have corridors of big hedges which are managed but look like they're wild, but they're full of brambles and nettles, and that enables the wildlife to pass slowly between fields and to get over to the Woodland Trust, which is on my right here, which is a 40-acre wood, and over to Churchwood, which is on my left here, and then further to Burnwood Forest, and then down to the MOD land here, which is very undisturbed tracts of land. And it allows, by us keeping and managing our farm like this, it allows the wildlife to move freely within quite a large acreage.
And you run different workshops here, mindfulness workshops and willow weaving workshops, but there's one project I'm interested in that we're working on, which is like a 2-3 day retreat with countryside activities. Just to explain very quickly what the idea for that retreat is.
The idea behind that is actually using the farm as a resource and enabling people who are aware of nature but perhaps haven't been quite hands-on with nature to come back here and we're very close to Oxford, to Tame, to Bicester, to the main road, but to come back here and retreat just a few hundred yards from civilization and realise that they can re-engage with nature, and how easy and simple it is just to use nature as a space to de-stress yourself, to relax, to lower that cortisol, and just to be somewhere and to be calm. And it will only take you half an hour sometimes, but we're going to try and manage that so that they then build it up, and we can be here for one day and then an overnight, and then getting lots of other people to come in and share how they work with nature. We can then extend that to 2 days and possibly 3 days, depending on how it evolves.
Okay, so let's go and see some of the people who are involved.
Okay.
And just find out a little bit more. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How does your work increase awareness of nature at the retreat?
Well, we all recognise that society is busy and stressful by and large, and so I am focusing on using the Chinese elements of five element acupuncture to see how stress manifests and how we can use nature to explore that manifestation and how to return us back to out of imbalance. So ultimately, how can we bring the best out in ourselves and each other? We start by recognizing that we're all on a continuum all of the time. So we want to achieve more abundance, more joy, less anger, less grief, more energy. And how do we go about doing that? How do we reconnect with ourselves? How do we recognize our needs? How do we recognize imbalance? And how do we support ourselves to be okay?
Okay,
what's my name again?
Maria.
So how did you get here today?
Well, I got here because I would love to be involved in this retreat. I believe that retreats like this can really help many people in a particular point of their lives. And the way I could help is, first of all, I think if the whole retreat idea goes about being in nature and in contact with nature and that rooting connection with nature again. And I would like to take the opportunity to open minds about another natural state, which is the hypnosis. And I will do that through group hypnotherapy or through individual hypnotherapy, and just demystifying all that is being told about hypnosis and putting it in the right place, which is just a tool that is available for everybody. Everybody can develop it, the self-hypnosis, I mean, and learning to know why would that be useful for you if it would. If you were going to learn more about it, why would you like to learn it? And in an environment such as these kind of retreats, where it's a mixture of different abilities and different experiences and different sensory ideas and experiences, I would like to use our own mind as one of them.
Fantastic.
How does your work at the proposed retreat, how does that connect people with nature in your vision?
Well, as a yoga and holistic health therapist, my aim is generally to help people to rebalance themselves when they're out of balance in life, which so many people are. And by coming here and connecting with the ground, literally putting your hands or your feet on the ground, feeling the energy from the ground, connecting with the trees, the sky, and feeling the air, the fresh air coming into our lungs, all these things help whilst we're doing different forms of yoga, breathing techniques and deep relaxation. There are so many amazing ways that being out here in nature, we can actually feel, physically, emotionally feel that connection with everything that's around us.
Okay, curveball for you, next little question. What excites you about this farm to do all that?
The vast expanse of space and the variety we have of areas, I suppose. You've got a little closed in area here, you've got the water to connect with, you've got lovely trees to connect with, and beautiful fields around. And of course the sounds of the birds.
I think
there's so much.
Being a slope and undulating, it just opens up a whole new world.
There's a whole range, because there's different parts that I could take people and we could do different things which you'd have a different experience in a different area here, and really feel that they can take those tools home and use them even when they're not in nature, back home, in real life, in a work situation, and enable themselves to get back into that space that they've felt here and rebalance and reharmonise their lives and let go of all that stress.
very much for watching. That was an insight to what we've got coming up, the ideas we have for the retreat. It's quite interesting times, isn't it, Stuart?
Yeah, it's very creative. You know, you'd be amazed what ideas Mother Nature gives you. And a little extra, I've got an extra pair of hands here. Come in a minute, Rob. Have a seat.
Thanks.
We've got an Oxford University student with us for the week and getting an insight into our work. What do you think?
Really boring.
Pretty boring. Yeah. So let's end it there. Then another boring film from me and William and Rob. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.